Hey everyone! While completing our readings on leadership for this course, I often find myself trying to place or apply what I know about my own leadership style or tendencies to the various theories and models we have examined. So today I'll be focusing on the theory or model of distributed leadership. I decided to focus on this particular model because it draws on my experience working in settings such as rehearsing with chamber ensembles and developing and facilitating certain performances. And I will elaborate on this later, but first it's important to understand the theory of distributed leadership. So, what is distributed leadership? To arrive at a definition, I turn to our course readings. In his text, Leadership, a very short introduction, Keith Grint defines distributed leadership simply as a form of collective leadership. And this definition is a great starting point as it establishes this particular model as non-autocratic, but there's more to it. This definition is expanded in the Bolden text, Exploring Leadership, as encouraging a shift in focus from the traits and roles of leaders to the shared activities and functions of leadership. And the author goes on further to say, distributed leadership is represented as dynamic, relational, inclusive, collaborative, and contextually situated. And through extending the boundaries of leadership, both in terms of who has a part to play and who is affected by the outcomes, distributed leadership offers a powerful, non-individualistic lens through which to observe leadership practice. Now, it should be noted that while distributed leadership focuses on the followers or team members assuming leadership roles within a process, the group tends to have a singular person who always offers some sort of direction, but not to the extreme of an authoritarian. And with a definition in place, now we can begin to discuss how distributed leadership functions in context. We will examine this through the chamber ensemble, for example. There are many facets of a chamber ensemble, such as the rehearsal process, performance, and the entrepreneurial side, which can encompass tasks such as marketing, scheduling, and budgeting, to name a few. But for the purposes of this discussion, I will elaborate on the rehearsal and entrepreneurial aspects. In my own experience, I have found that distributed leadership works best in this setting because it plays to the strengths of the individuals in the group, distributes responsibility evenly, and lends itself well to constructive criticism from colleagues, ultimately resulting in a well put together final product. And typically in a rehearsal setting, as is the case of my own percussion group, the ensemble performs without a conductor, and as such, rehearsals are led by the ensemble itself. In rehearsal, one member of the group may have prior experience performing a particular composition, while the others don't. And because of that, the group collectively decides that that person will coach that piece. During rehearsals, while the member with prior experience has been deemed as the lead, the ensemble still functions collectively to make artistic decisions concerning the music. And on the entrepreneurial side, this is how we see distributed leadership functioning more in line with the realm of arts management. A chamber ensemble is more or less a small arts organization. Depending on the level of that ensemble, there are many moving administrative parts requiring a collective effort to maintain. With this in mind, distributed leadership works very well. It goes without saying that every type of musical group, whether it be a rock band, hip-hop group, or chamber ensemble, has an official leader. An unofficial leader. And while there may be an unofficial leader, the other members of the group are equally as important as they bring various strengths to the table. In my own group, we have an unofficial leader, and I readily acknowledge that that person is not me. However, I offer certain strengths to the administrative aspects of the group where other members are lacking. So those areas have become my responsibility, and other members each have their specific responsibilities. And when it comes to those areas, we are the leaders of our respective domains. We are a network in our ensemble. So in arts management, this can be applied to organizations that are more project-oriented or focus on developing events, for example. Sometimes the level of work required to successfully facilitate one of these projects or events is too much for one individual, so it makes sense to distribute the leadership responsibilities to others in the organization, often playing to the strengths of those specific individuals. Perhaps even, as is the case of my ensemble, some have competence in areas where others are lacking. The individuals act as a network, working towards achieving a goal. Every piece of the network is equal to the other, and if one piece breaks, the network fails. So, to wrap this up, I will read a couple quotes that I feel nicely embody the theory of distributed leadership. In the words of Raylan, as found in Leadership, A Very Short Introduction, distributed leadership is concurrent and collective rather than serial and individual. Lots of people are engaged in it rather than just those in formal positions. It is compassionate rather than dispassionate, and generates a community rather than simply an organization. And in the words of Grint, in sum, leadership becomes not a property of the formal individual leader, but an emergent property of the group, network, or community. And in my own words, an arts organization is only as strong as the people who work day in and day out to keep it functional. So why not capitalize on those individual strengths and abilities, practicing distributed leadership to achieve the ultimate goal? Thank you.